What's up guys, Eli here, back for another Tales from the Dollar Bin video, where this time we're doing DVDs, movies in general. Usually I do, it's hard to buy music for cheap, at least in most stores these days, but horror movies, you know, sometimes they're a dime a dozen. So, for those of you that are new to this channel, newish, I don't get a ton of new subs, but I have gotten a handful lately. Tales from the Dollar Bin is kind of a series that I do where I go to certain stores in my local area, or even online, it doesn't really matter, but I buy horror movies for usually around $1. I think I've changed the criteria to under $2. So $2 or less, talking places like Goodwill, pawn shop, stuff like that, and seeing what kind of movies I can come up with for $2 or less. So, we got a stack today, guys. Normally I do 10 at a time, but today we got 11. So I like to give you, god damn it, Louie, I like to give you that little extra. Other channels just give you 10. Not me though. Nah, I'm giving you 11. In fact, one of these, actually, I think I do 10. I don't know anyone else that does. One of these is one of those four-way movies. So technically, there's like 14 movies here. Such value. Anyways, let's get started. First off, we're talking about a movie that I actually already own, and I have owned this for a long, long time. I've owned it since it came out. But I saw this, you know, again for $1. Couldn't just leave it sitting there. I'm going to pass it on to a friend, probably Kevin, Full Metal Ginger. I intended to send this to him, so we're talking about High Tension from 2003, sorry. Directed by Alexandre Aja, his directorial debut. This is a 6.7 IMDb score, which I feel like is probably pretty fair. I mean, I don't really pay attention to scores too much, but I dig this movie a lot. It got a lot of attention when it came out, and I think it still more than holds up. So this came out during the time of what they called, I don't know if it's still a thing, but they called it the new, what did they call it? The new French extreme horror, something like that, where it was a lot of directors out of France in the earlier 2000s were putting out not just horror movies, but like really, really extreme horror movies like this. High Tension, Martyrs would be another one. I mean, people are still talking about Martyrs. And I think this one, people still talk about this as well. And there's a handful of others too, but they're kind of escaping me right now. If you know of any, go ahead and chime in, get my memory jogging. What a directorial debut. Alexandre Aja, he went on to direct stuff like the Piranha remake, which was fucking gory as hell. He did the Hills Have Eyes remake, which I love that movie. I think it's, in my opinion, I prefer it much to the original. And he's done some stuff that maybe doesn't hold up as well. He did that movie Crawl with, I think Sam Raimi produced it. It was okay. It was about flooding, I think somewhere down south, massive flooding and like crocodiles, CGI crocodiles killing people. It was all right. I didn't think it was too great, but I don't know. High Tension's cool. It's got a the gritty, raw Tobe Hooper feel. But obviously, this is way, way, way more bloody than anything Tobe ever did. It's got a nice kind of psychological twist at the end. Very gruesome, extremely violent, extremely graphic. A lot of you probably know about this one, but if you don't, check it out. High Tension, cool movie. Next, another movie that I've shown at least once, maybe even twice lately, so I won't waste too much time on this. Again, couldn't leave it just sitting there for $1. I was gonna send this to Kevin as well, but I figured I'd just show it because it was part of the stack that I bought. District 9, Neil Blomkamp's directorial debut. I got a couple directorial debuts here, and oddly enough, they're all really strong. This is in my opinion, by far the best thing he's ever done, which is crazy. He's done, what, 3 other movies, I think, and I think this is better than probably all of them put together. 7.9 on IMDb. I think that's fair. I might even put it a little higher. It's a great movie. This will tug at your heartstrings. It looks fantastic. The acting is stellar. The directing, everything about this movie is, I couldn't change a thing. So, District 9 from 2009. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. Next we have Slither from 2006. Another movie yet I already own and have owned for many, 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 many years. Got the full screen version, but I don't even think they make those anymore. Never really understood why they made two different versions back in the day. But so this was directed back in 2006 by James Gunn, who started off as a trauma director, which is kind of crazy. I didn't actually know that until years later. He went on to direct massive movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad, and one of my all-time favorite movies, Super. Definitely check out Super and Slither for James Gunn masterpieces. Sitting at a 6.5 on the IMDb score. One of my favorite horror movies, to be honest. I'm not sure what kind of budget he was working on with this. I imagine it wasn't too huge, but it couldn't have been bad either because this movie looks so good. A lot of gnarly practical effects. I'm sure there's a fair amount of CGI mixed in there as well, but the way that they did it was just fantastic. I mean, for 2006, this movie looks way better than most modern movies. Oddly enough, fantastic. If you're a fan of David Cronenberg, if you're a fan of John Carpenter, this is an homage to both of those directors. If you like The Thing, fucking forget about it. You have to see this. Fantastic. We got a movie that I saw in the theater and thought was pretty cool. I've kind of always wanted to pick up a copy. I just never really bothered. Maybe because I don't like it that much, but it's pretty fucking entertaining. And for $1, I was more than happy to scoop it up. We're talking about 2007's Planetary, directed by Robert Rodriguez. This was in the theater as a Grindhouse double feature with the movie Death Proof with Kurt Russell. Death Proof I thought was okay. I didn't think it was nearly as good as this, personally. Really enjoyable. So Robert Rodriguez, also known for From Dusk to Dawn, Sin City, and the movie that made him famous would be Desperado. So this sits on IMDb at a 7.1 score. It's pretty cool, just kind of throwback zombie movie, but with lots of fun over the top ideas, and it's a fun zombie movie, and that's kind of all there is to it. And another movie, sorry guys, another movie I've already shown recently, but yeah, I own this. I sent a copy over to Rick. Dreadful Minutes. I was gonna send this probably to another friend, just because I think for $1, this is a really cool movie. Talk about Night Watch from 2004, directed by Timur Bekmambetov, sitting on a 6.4 IMDb score. This is just a fun, maybe slightly nonsensical kind of fantasy horror type movie. Very fantastical. I mean, this is like Lord of the Rings style epicness, but more of a horror twist. And I don't know. I just think it's a really fun movie. I have there's a two movie series. The other one is Day Watch. I actually picked up Day Watch recently. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah. So this is a Russian movie. So it's all in Russian. I think I've seen too many Russian movies, but this is a good one. Definitely check out Night Watch if you like just epic, fantastical storylines. Like I said, fantasy mixed with horror. It's a really fun watch. Then I got one of those crazy, multi-movie sets. I mean, look at this one. Pumpkinhead 2, Leprechaun, and the first two Wishmaster movies. I already have the first two Wishmaster movies. Never really wished to own Leprechaun, but hey, I do now. I mostly wanted it for a Pumpkinhead 2, Blood Wings. Never seen the second one. I don't know if it's worth watching, but I don't know. I've always wanted to watch it. This is a 3-disc set. The Leprechaun disc, Pumpkinhead 2 disc, and the other Wishmasters on that one. As I've said before, I've talked about Wishmaster here. The first one was a blast. The second one, about half as good as the first. Still worth watching, but it was pretty underwhelming. So I've looked into I've looked into Pumpkinhead 2. It's came out in '93, probably a cash grab. You didn't have Stan Winston on board or Lance Henriksen, two of the most notable names from the first. And this has got a 4.5 IMDb score, so a little below average. I still want to see it. I don't know. Maybe it's fun. Leprechaun came out in '93, directed by Mark Jones, who has done, from what little research I've done, just mostly low budget stuff. 4.7 IMDb score. And yeah, the Wishmaster movies, like I said, are fun. First one's got a 5.8 IMDb score. Second one has like a 4 point something. Directed by Robert Kurtzman for Wishmaster. Wishmaster 2 came out in '99, directed by Jack Shoulder, who directed the second Nightmare on Elm Street movie, oddly enough. Kind of funny. And this other really cool looking movie called Alone in the Dark, which I've never heard of, but I thought I'd look into it. Also picked up this Nightmare Series Encyclopedia. I believe this came in the Nightmare on Elm Street box set from like 10, 15 years ago. But I didn't get that set, so I thought this looked cool for $1. Hell yeah. It's a documentary about all the, Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and from what I've heard and read, it's pretty well done. It's got a 7.0 IMDb score. This came out in '99, directed by Mark Rantz. Should be a blast to watch, and that cover artwork is just really cool. I'd love to have a poster of that. Awesome. Then I've got a movie I've been a fan of for forever, just about since it came out. I was 9 years old, I think, when it came out. Probably had no business watching this, but, it left a mark on me, needless to say, and I have so much nostalgia for this movie. In my opinions, it's the upper echelon of filmmaking. We're talking about The Silence of the Lambs. So it came out in '91, directed by Jonathan Demme, 8.6 IMDb score. I would give it no lower than that. I'd give it at least a 9, personally. I don't need to say shit about this movie. Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter, Scott Glenn. I mean, this movie is in my opinion, just a horror masterpiece. The writing, the acting, the directing, there's nothing lacking in this movie. It is just, again, filmmaking at its fucking best. You guys a fan of this? I like the series in general, but I definitely like this the most. I do like the original Manhunter. I think it was called Manhunter. Fuck, I own it. Directed by Michael Mann. For some reason, I feel like for the longest time nobody ever really talked about it, but that one's also really good. Let me correct myself. The Manhunter is actually it's a prequel. It's Red Dragon. If you've seen Red Dragon was a remake of Manhunter. My bad. And I like Red Dragon a lot. That movie, I saw it in the theater when I was like 19 or something. That one left a mark on me as well. I've always had a huge soft spot for that movie, despite its flaws. I've actually been meaning to do a video for the longest time where I would compare Manhunter to Red Dragon. So maybe that'll see the light of day sometime. But anyways, like I said, I don't need to say anything else about this, about The Silence of the Lambs. It's so fucking good. And I've been wanting to see this, so I was really, really, really happy to see it for $1, because it is a recent movie. You don't usually see, super recent movies that cheap. But we're talking about the Candyman remake from 2021, directed by Nia Costa, screenplay by Jordan Peele. Sitting at a 5.9 on IMDb. I thought that was a little low, just compared to what I've heard. I could have sworn I'd heard some pretty good things, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I've really been wanting to watch this, and I'm glad I'm going to have an opportunity. Obviously, you know about the original Candyman. Came out in early 90s? Was it 91, 92, something like that? Tony Todd. Fantastic movie. I'm a big fan of it. And I'm, as I've said on this channel many times before, I'm not opposed to remakes at all. In fact, I kind of like the idea of them. They don't always work, but when they do work, they're fun. When they don't work, they don't tarnish the original movie. I'm so tired of people saying that shit. Typically, they have nothing to do with the original, as far as it's usually a different director, different actors, everything. It's just someone else's attempt. I'll admit, sometimes they're lazy. Most don't really need to be made, but sometimes they're a lot of fun. So, whatever. Picked up this German movie just because, it was $1 and presentation looked okay. We're talking about Haunted Hospital, Heilstatten, from 2018, directed by Michael David Pate. It was done quite a bit over in Germany, not much that I'm familiar with. Sitting at a 4.1 IMDb score. That's pretty bad. That is well below average, as you know, because you know how numbers work. I'm assuming this is a fucking, I don't know. It looks like it's probably a found footage style paranormal activity type movie. A bunch of dumb teenagers go into a abandoned hospital and record shit. Shit goes wrong, I'm sure. I haven't watched it yet, but I don't know. Maybe I'll like it. We'll see. Maybe I'll come back and let you know. Anyone else seen this? Nah, it was $1. Because I've been trying to complete my John Carpenter collection. Still have a handful of his movies I don't have. We're talking about 1984's Starman. Not a flat out horror like Carpenter's mostly known for. This is more of a sci-fi with some horror elements. I've never actually seen this. I've known about it forever. I like Jeff Bridges. He's cool. Love John Carpenter though, which is of course why I bought it. Sitting at a 7.0 on IMDb. If I didn't already say that, because I have the memory of a goldfish apparently. This is kind of a cult classic, really. I mean, a lot of people have this, a lot of nostalgia for this movie, and it sucks that I'm only now seeing it all these years later. But whatever, you can't see every movie. Yeah, and I'm really happy to pick this up for $1, and just happy to have it in my collection. So, any Carpenter fans out there? I'm sure that's a dumb question. What do you guys think about Starman? Anyways, guys, that's all I got. Let me know if you've seen any of these. Do you like any of them? Or any of them your favorites? See anything here you hate? Just, yeah, if you've seen any of these, let me know. Let's talk about it. So, anyways, as always, guys, I appreciate you stopping by, and we will talk soon. 2 thumbs up. Siskel and Ebert style. Cheers!